When the magician combines danger with illusion, the resulting creation is the one which generates the highest entertainment quotient. That's the reason we see more and more ridiculous tricks being performed to this very day. So, be it the infamous sword-swinging trick or the crazy magician doing some insanely crazy stuff. Hello and welcome back, and today we're gonna figure out the secrets behind the most dangerous magic tricks of all time. So, let's get started. At number 5, the blindfolded sword trick. This trick, performed by Aaron Crow, is quite possibly the most dangerous trick performed on talent shows around the world. Known for being a famous mentalist, here's what he did. He first calls upon a few spectators and one of the judges on stage to start performing his stunts involving sharp objects. For his act, Aaron picks up a burning candle and drops hot liquid wax onto his closed eyes, thus sealing them totally shut. He then blindfolds himself with 3 different materials, i.e. the white gauze, followed by a black tape, and finally the aluminum foil over his head. This was enough to convince the audience members and the judges that he was not able to see anything. Thereafter, he goes on to use various sharp objects, including a sword, to first chop off the objects being held by the spectators. And then finally, slices a pineapple off Howie Mandel's head perfectly. So, how was he able to perform this act so dangerous? Well, here's the secret. Now, you'd think, how come Howie agreed to this act, which was also a huge risk to his life? Obviously, it's a pretty classic Hollywood secret in which Howie was already informed of the act. Otherwise, why would anyone risk their life? Also, the act was practiced several times with stand-ins, along with the producers of the show giving their approval to perform the same, only after getting to know the key elements of the trick to make sure nothing goes wrong on stage. Now, coming to the secret, the trick consists of 2 parts. First, the burning candle wax, and second, the blindfolded part. So, how did Aaron's eyes survive the melting wax? Obviously, the candle wax can be very hot, and you should never try this at home or anywhere else. Also, if you see this graph, it shows how much damage our skin suffers when exposed to high temperature. So any wax which has a melting point below 50 degrees Celsius would not damage our skin if the exposure duration is very short. Here, the liquid wax you see must be paraffin wax or bayberry wax, which has a low melting point. Also, if you observe Aaron, he raises his hand and holds the burning candle quite far away from his eyes. So, this gets enough time for the liquid wax to travel, and as you know, it only takes a few seconds for the wax to melt off and harden completely. Thereafter, he had enough time to open his eyes inside the blindfold while it was still warm and malleable. And even if the wax did cool, it was just a thin layer of wax, which he easily scratched away from his face. So, this is how he kept his eyes safe inside. Now, for the next part, how did he slice off that pineapple? Well, his eyes were all safe, and he was able to see through the covering. Otherwise, the show would never let anyone perform this dangerous act with him blindfolded and not able to see. But how was he able to see through the layers? Well, he did wrap the white gauze and the black tape followed by the foil. But there's a trick to these props. They were not secured properly around the head, and the way he put all the stuff on his eyes was just a trick. Now, Aaron's a perfect illusionist, and if you check his left-hand index finger, you can see his finger sneaking and pulling down the blindfold. At the same moment, he wraps a silver foil around his head which conceals the finger movement underneath. So the gauze is just like an eye mask which can be lifted and back down again. But what about the outer covering of foil? Obviously, the white gauze and black tape were a perfect covering which hid his eyes and he couldn't see through. But the foil you see on his head is not an aluminum foil, but a transparent material known as silver window tint, which is mostly applied on car windows. It's a one-way reflective glass material from which he could easily see through. So, he wraps around 2 layers of that tint, one at the front and the other one at the back of his head. And he separated them while wrapping it around his head. And now you know it, his vision is not blocked, and he can see through the blindfold and goes about cutting the objects with quite ease. But still, isn't swinging a sword above a person's head very dangerous? Well, it is, but the sword you see was a gimmick sword, which might even be just plastic. And the pineapple placed on Howie's head was pre-cut to almost 90 to 95%, and thereafter only needed a small force to slice it apart. Also, the golf-shaped metal bar to the right of his face is almost 3 inches, which means the sword would just rebound and not hurt him in case he missed his target. Finally, while removing the foil, he puts back the gauze to its original position to end this amazing act, which left the audience and judges gasping for nothing. At number 4, crushing the box illusion. Now, this is one very interesting trick, and it comes all the way from Israel's Got Talent show. In this trick, the magician named Tomer Dudai performs the illusion with the help of 2 old people. First, he gets inside a large box, and the assistants cover the box from above with only the hands of the magician extending out. And now the fun begins. The old man takes a wooden stick, and without warning, he squeezes half the box from the right side, but the magician is still waving his hands. Thereafter, another beautiful woman comes, gets a hold of that wooden stick, and starts squeezing the remaining half of the box, thus crushing everything in the path. But what do we see? The magician makes his appearance from the back of the judges unharmed, thus shocking them all. Now, there are 2 key secrets which make this illusion possible, and we'll look at both of them. So, how did they crush the magician flat as a pizza? The first secret lies deep within the base of that box. Also, the box is deeper than it appears from the front, and there's a trapdoor compartment built inside the box, and the left side of the box also has another hiding place. Now, the second secret lies in that stair compartment. Yes, that's a secret staircase. And this is how it all happened. First, the magician gets inside the box, and through that trapdoor, he hides inside the secret staircase. The staircase is then separated and taken through the backstage. So, this is how he makes his appearance at the end. Now, coming to how the box was crushed, there was another person hidden inside the trapdoor who gets out, slides his legs inside the trapdoor at the base of the box, and positions himself with his back hidden inside the left side of the box. Finally, he extends his hands out, which was visible all throughout the trick. So it was all too comfortable for the person inside when the whole box was squeezed, as the synchronization created made it a great illusion to watch. At number 3, the bow and arrow trick. The first scary trick in our list is by none other than Aaron Crow, a very popular magician known for his dangerous acts. And here's what he did on America's Got Talent and many other shows which scared everyone around. By pointing laser light onto the judges panel, Aaron first calls upon 2 judges on stage to be his volunteers for the trick. He then asks Heidi, one of the judges, to take out her ring and be ready for his next move. Thereafter, he takes out an apple and using a knife, pierces it through its center. He puts Heidi's ring inside that apple and then closes it. Once the ring is secured, Aaron instructs the guest judge to stand behind Heidi. He also hands him a black wooden tray with a nail inserted on it. Now, as the guest judge stands behind Heidi, he holds a wooden tray on her head that is supporting the apple and the ring. Aaron then walks around the stage, reveals the target object, and takes out an arrow. He then points the bow and arrow with a laser light through the crowd, which invokes a lot of fear. Aaron then begins to spin in circles and, all of a sudden, he shoots the arrow, and what do we see? The apple is instantly cut in half. Not only did Aaron shoot the apple, the arrow even picked up a ring inside the apple on the way and landed on the target board. So, how did he do it? Well, to begin with, you should never try this sort of stuff at home or anywhere else. Now, coming to the secret, it's pretty obvious that no arrow was shot, and all you saw in the act was just an illusion. Also, why would the producers of the show put someone's lives at risk? So, from the pure perspective of entertainment and illusion, the producers of the show are told what the contestants are going to do before the act to make sure they have the dangerous stunts sorted out. Also, if you see carefully, it was not a continuous shot when the arrow was fired. It was like one frame the bow releases, one frame the apple is cut in half, and in one frame the arrow hits the target. This implies that at every stage, there's a mechanism which made this act possible. Now, as there was no arrow shot, how did the arrow end up on the target board? Well, both the bow and the arrow used for the act were gimmicked. Also, if you see here, the laser flashlight is coming out of the bow and is used for the purpose of aiming at the target, which the viewers thought so. However, its main purpose was to hide the secret hidden inside the bow. Yes, the secret lies in that bow, and also the arrowhead didn't go past beyond the bow and only the laser light went through. Also, this laser light created the illusion that the arrowhead was present there, and Aaron did shoot it when the light turned off. Now you'd ask, if there was no arrow shot, then what about this arrow? Where did it go? Well, as we said before, the arrow he picked up is a gimmick arrow, made up of a string with a feather at the end of it to make it look like a real arrow. Also, hidden inside the handle of the bow is a cylindrical reel, and the string was connected onto that spring-loaded reel. And now you must have got it. When Aaron fires the shot, he releases the loose end of the string as it rolls into the hidden reel. But what about the arrow at the target board? Well, the arrow that appeared after the shot was already placed inside the leg of the target board all this while. It was hidden behind the black cloth using a spring mechanism. Here you can see that there's an opening in the cloth where the spring-loaded arrow was resting vertically against the board. Now, when triggered by a remote, the spring-loaded arrow pops out of the opening to its horizontal position. Also, notice the angular movement of the arrow when it vibrates after hitting the target. Now, this isn't the movement of the arrow hitting straight at the target. This confirms that the arrow popped out from the opening below. Also, the arrow at the target had Heidi's ring. Where did it come from? Is it a fake ring? No, it was Heidi's actual ring, as she would have easily noticed it if it was a fake one. Now for this part, we also need to look at the apple. After Aaron pierces the apple, you can see he digs the apple in such a way that its one side hole is bigger than the other side. Now he puts the ring inside the smaller hole, which convinces everyone that the ring is placed tightly inside and cannot be taken out easily. But as you know, there's a bigger hole at the other end, and during this moment, when he covers the center portion of the apple, the ring is actually pushed out through the bigger hole, which he conceals using his right-hand thumb. Also, when he is seen placing the apple, the ring is hidden in his left-hand fist. Now you know it. The ring is in Aaron's hand, and during the moment when he adjusts the target board, he puts that ring over the arrow, with his hand hidden behind the board and concealed using a black cloth. But there's one question still unanswered. How did the apple split in pieces? Well, the tray on which the apple was placed had a built-in mechanism at its bottom. A spring-loaded knife was placed underneath, which moved from left to right when triggered by a remote. Now, this made the apple to split perfectly in parts, as the knife came out through the opening under the apple. And this is how the apple was cut in half. So, the whole act was perfectly synchronized using a button hidden inside the bow and was triggered by Aaron just at the right time, which made this awesome illusion possible. At number 2, the talking head illusion. If you want to scare your friends with some easy-to-do magic, then the talking head illusion is a perfect illusion for fun. In this trick, as you can see, the head of that child is on top of the table, while his lower body has totally disappeared. So, can you guess how it's done? Well, before revealing the secret, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get instant notifications of our new video uploads. Now, let's quickly get to the secret. The trick behind this scary illusion involves the concept of physics related to the properties of reflected light. Here, as you can see, her lower body is not visible. The explanation for this illusion is that two mirrors are positioned at right angles with their apex directly behind the table leg. Now, the left and right-sided mirrors reflect the sides of the surrounding box and create a false back. The false background that the mirror reflects are placed on the left and right side of the table. Thus, the table appears to be open underneath. So, the girl inserts her head into the table and has her body extending downward from the tabletop. This girl in her kneel-down position is concealed from the audience by two very clean glass mirrors placed at 90 degrees. The walls, floor, and the surrounding area in which the table is placed are covered with the same color pattern and materials. Now, the audience rarely notices the absence of a fourth leg, so the fourth leg won't be seen due to the mirrors hiding it, but the audience will see it as an optical illusion and assume that the fourth leg is behind one of the other legs. And this illusion is what makes the person's head float above the table. So finally, the most dangerous trick on our list, the dangerous drill act. In our previous videos, you've seen people perform all sorts of dangerous acts, but this one tops them all. To start off, the magician brings a drill machine on stage and is about to do something very weird, very crazy, supernatural, say what you want. Then he begins to put that drill machine inside his head, but nothing happens to him, not even a scratch, and he's totally fine. So, how did he survive such a crazy act? Well, here's the secret. First and foremost, never, ever try to do this at home or anywhere else. Now, coming to the secret of his survival, the drill bit attached to the machine is blunt and flat-headed. So, no matter how he places it on his body, the drill never penetrates. Now, some of you'd think, even though the drill is flat-headed, at least it should leave a scratch mark when pushed inside with force. Well, the magician here only pretends to push it forcefully. But the fact is that the drill machine is designed to move in a reverse direction, and that's the reason the drill bit is seen turning and twisting the skin but never affects the skin. It's all an illusion. So guys, hope you got the secrets behind the most dangerous magic tricks of all time. Which trick was the most dangerous one? And name any other video topics you would like us to create. Let us know in the comments below. Do like and share this video with your friends on social media. For more such amazing things, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And finally, thanks for watching.